This is a prime example of late stage brainwashing. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this viral speech from Logan Paul about being a quote-unquote anti-racist. Now, this is actually old. It came out last year, like right around June 2020, but I've not seen it up until the past couple of days when it's, I guess, resurfaced for whatever the reason may be. But this is a prime example of how people are brainwashed into believing a lot of this left-wing stuff. What he's saying here does not make a lot of sense in reality, but it makes perfect sense once you understand what a lot of kids and, quite frankly, some grown people are being taught to believe as the truth. Now, before I go any further, let's get into it. In this clip, you're going to hear and see Logan Paul talking about you got to be an anti-racist and you got to use your white privilege and all this, that, and the third. After we get done watching that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what was said there. Then I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
One of my biggest learnings from all of this, and I'm embarrassed that it's taken me 25 years to realize this. It is not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Yes.
Condemn those who feign superiority because of the color of their skin. Friends, hold friends accountable. Hold your family accountable. Hold yourself accountable. And most importantly, we must hold our authorities accountable. Police officers, politicians, policymakers. As Killer Mike said, bully the politicians at the voting booth. Make your voice heard. Attend a protest. Speak up against injustice. If you're white, if you look like me, use your privilege. And for those who do not think white privilege exists, you are blind. You are delusional and you are part of the problem. I can count on 0 hands the amount of times that I have feared for my life at a routine traffic stop. That has never happened. Half of the reason I'm able to get away with some of my hooligan shit I do in my vlogs is because I'm a white kid. I'm confident that I do not have to fear for my life should the cops show up. Acknowledge and weaponize your privilege. I believe we're going to a protest today. You can bet your I'll be in the front line. Knowing all this about America, its racially charged background, its inability to truly treat humans as equals, even after 244 years since its inception, we must now work towards finding the solution. And if you are an influencer or a celebrity friend of mine, I hope you are using your platform to continue to spread the message of solidarity and unity. I do not have all the answers, but I know we must now reverse engineer the system as a collective.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, I'm not really sure where to begin. There's a whole lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids say. I think the first thing I want to talk about is how a lot of these white liberals especially feel like they are superior to everyone, especially people, quote unquote, people of color. Like, and when I say that, I don't mean Asians. That's a whole different story. I'm talking about Blacks and Hispanics. They feel like they have a responsibility because they are superior to them. So they got to go out there and kind of be like the dads and the moms. It's really paternalistic, maternalistic, patronizing, and quite frankly, kind of infantilizing for people that are adults, where you got to have this adult trying to be your dad. It's like, look, I have a father, you're not it. So why are you trying to assume that role? I'm older than you are. So it's really disrespectful and condescending. But that's what they do. And they're not even right. Well, they're halfway right, and I'll explain. He was speaking about how people like himself, Logan Paul, and other people that have quote-unquote white privilege need to be out there in the front lines of a protest. And he says, since we have that privilege, we could pretty much do whatever we want, and it won't be a problem. We won't go to the penitentiary, Big Rocks, Little Rocks. We won't have any of that kind of stuff happen because of our privilege. Well, you're right and wrong. You might be able to go to a protest, go out there, tear stuff up, talk about Black Lives Matter, and tear a black neighborhood down, tear black infrastructure down, tear black stores, and make the community more violent and dangerous, and have nothing happen. But that's not because you're white. Not at all, because it's not just white folks that are out there talking about Black Lives Matter. You got black folks out there, Asians, Hispanics, a little bit of everybody out there. It's majority white because a lot of these people feel just like Logan Paul. They feel like they have a responsibility because they're white. They must use their superiority and their privilege to fight for the downtrodden black and brown man. That's how they feel. Most of these guys won't go to the penitentiary. They won't go to jail because of political reasons. That's the reason why, not because of race. If it's about race and you could protest and do whatever you want without any penalty, well, explain all the guys in the joint right now because of January 6th. Okay, you got the federales beating in doors of people that weren't even there because they were suspected of being there. They weren't even there. People that were identified as being outside the Capitol are being raided and thrown in the who's goo. For what? Just for being outside? Like, is it illegal to be outside in a public place? So, and the majority, 99.9 or close to that, of these people are white. So where's their privilege at? Where's their white superiority? And where's all that at when it comes to the January 6th guys, huh? It's an insurrection. What really happened? I mean, if it's an insurrection as far as January 6th, how about the Black House Autonomous Zone? Okay. How about trying to destroy the federal building in Portland, Oregon for 100 days straight every night? Isn't it the same thing? How about all the people that have been killed in Black Lives Matter so-called protests? Little girls, little black girls. Sequoia Turner, 8 years old, shot and killed in Atlanta, Georgia, right by a Black Lives Matter so-called protest. A little autonomous zone where somebody got shot by police when they were trying to fight the police and trying to shoot them back. Huh? How about David Dorn, a 77-year-old black man, shot and killed over a flat screen TV during this Black Lives Matter instability? I mean, if we're talking about death, destruction, and chaos, then let's talk about it for real in a serious way. And you're going to see that a lot of it happens, 99% of it really, in my humble opinion, happens on the left, not on the right. But somehow the right get punished heavier than those on the left. Why? Not because of race, it's because of political reasons. That's just reality. And people like Logan Paul don't even understand it. They don't even get it. You know, he's, talking about a lot of these talking points. You got to be an anti-racist and use your privilege, all this, that, and the third. He's talking about all these things, but they are meaningless. To him, they mean a lot. He wants to go out there and do the work and be the change, all this and that. But the truth is that he is a pawn, just like all the other BLM so-called protesters, activists, they're all pawns. You see, when they're talking about defunding the police and how how the police are bad, there's a process that happens when this kind of rhetoric is allowed to persist, when those that are out there engaging in the rhetoric and at the same time violence are allowed to go out there and do it over and over again. There's a reason for that. And in my humble opinion, and if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, it's all about instability. If you're able to have them go out there, talk about how bad the police are, run the police off, have the police retire, defund the police, take away arms from the citizenry. Joe Biden kind of alluded to it. I think he might have let the cat out the bag a little early, talking about we want to ban the so-called military weapons, assault weapons, or whatever. They want to ban those, but also you want to ban 9mm pistols, huh? You said that a little bit earlier, didn't you, Mr. Biden? That's the end goal, to ban all weapons. So then, as a regular normie, just out there going to work, taking care of your kids, your wife, your husband, just having good family time or whatever, friends, family, you go from just being able to protect yourself and whatnot, having your weapons, having your arms, to not being armed, not able to protect yourself, and the military and police, they'll have the weapons. So whatever kind of totalitarian dictatorship gets installed, you'll be at their mercy. You'll be like, whatever they say will pretty much go. That's the end game. People like Logan Paul are simply being used. They don't even know it. And it's going to be a sad day when they realize what's happening. A lot of people realize what's happening right now, and they're having their red pill moments. They realize what's happening right now, and they're trying to reverse course and get everybody back on track. But a lot of these guys are going to be out there sad. And like I've said many times before, and shout out to Yuri Bezmenov for telling this, they'll be the first ones lined up on the wall and done away with. That's how it works, because ultimately, as I close, when things don't go the way they think, when this utopia of a society they thought would blossom does not come to fruition, they'll be upset. They'll be disillusioned. They're going to be the biggest agitators against this new movement coming in. So they got to get dealt with. We've seen it already. We've seen guys, Michael Avenatti, hey, you're going to be the next president. We love you. You're really, sticking it to Trump. Get out there and go get him. In the penitentiary now. Threw him away like he was nothing. That's how it always happens. And if you don't understand this, if you don't understand history will be repeating itself. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what Logan Paul said? Did he have a point? Did he not have a point? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. Is there anything that I missed that I should have touched on as far as what he said? If there's anything I missed, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. I think that Logan Paul is just an example of the brainwashing. This is what they want for you as an adult, or if you are a young person, underage, they want it for you. If you have kids, they want it for your kids. This is how they want everyone to think. And it's not about trying to empower anybody. It's not about trying to have quote unquote racial equality. None of that type of feel good mumbo jumbo. Is not even about that. It's about ultimately having control over everyone. There will be no race class or class at all. There won't be anything. Everybody will be equal. And I guess that's great for some people, but the problem is that everyone will be equally suffering and miserable, except for the political class. And as I said, guys like Logan Paul think that they're going to be at the top. They're going to be the political class. They're going to be the leaders and the rulers, but they'll be lined up on the wall, pop, pop, pop. That's how it always happens. I'm not saying I want it to happen. I'm just saying this is what history tells us will happen. It's happened over and over and over and over and over again. And I don't know about y'all, but I think history is the greatest predictor of the future. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.